Hey, CJ Lehigh here, and it's a new year. We're into February already, but been retooling some things, redoing the Patreon page, and getting ready to do a couple of other things. And looking back over last year, it's become obvious to me that the most popular posts that I had, the things that people seem to enjoy the most, involved some of my children's stories, and specifically having me read those children's stories to, I don't know, whoever is listening. So I thought I would start this year off with doing that apropos of the book that I published late last year. Had some of my work come out in a book called 12 Upon a Time, the Baker's Dozen edition. I have one right here. Hang on. Aha! 12 Upon a Time. So, having had that come out and being, it did pretty well, actually, all things considered. Sold better, actually, than I was expecting it to. Apropos of that, I have a story from that book coming out in the next week here called All the Marbles, just a 99-cent Kindle short. And so I wanted to give you guys a sneak preview of it and read a little bit of it, and maybe I'll go through and read the whole thing. So without further ado, here we go. For All the Marbles by C.J. Lehigh. Nobody plays marbles anymore because they don't know how much fun it is. Well, it is fun, especially if you're good at it, and I am good. I am very good. If I wasn't, I would never have got the marble. You know, the marble. You don't know about the marble? I thought everybody knew about it. Well, now you have to hear about it. Marbles are everywhere. If you find one of the glass ones with the toothpaste ribbon down the middle, some red, some green, some yellow, it might be the marble. You never know. School is boring, at least I think so. Some parts of it, anyway. Some parts are okay, though. My teacher, Mrs. Perpicor, is pretty fun most of the time, like when we blew up the volcano for science and it got foam all over the floor. Art is pretty fun, at least when we use paints. And then we have recess, which is great. I wish school was mostly recess. At recess, we shoot marbles. Me and a couple other boys and a girl named Penny. She's good, too. I have a bag of marbles in my desk. I like the way they look and how they're all different. My dad taught me about them. There's Aggies that look like polished rocks. Those are my favorite. Most people carry Steelies and Puries, too, and there are all kinds of other ones. I have a lot of cat's eyes. Those are everywhere. And that's why when I found the marble, I didn't know it was anything special. Until I picked it up, of course. It was a Thursday, just like any other Thursday. We had a spelling test in the morning, and I did okay. I missed a couple words. I like reading, but spelling words is not much fun. We did some math, and then we had lunch. If you're fast, you can get out to the playground for some extra recess, so my friends and I all eat like we're starving and get out as fast as we can. I had a brown bag lunch. My mother packs it. She thinks the lunch at school is not very healthy. On Thursdays, I agree with her because the school macaroni and cheese looks like worms. Seth sat down next to me with his lunchbox. He still carries one, even though some other kids make fun of him for it. But it's Spider-Man, so I think it's cool. You want to trade? Seth said. I'll drop my orange on the floor if you want to get it, I said. He nodded. I have an apricot fruit roll-up today. Just like that, the deal was done. We aren't supposed to trade things from our lunches. The school says, but we always do. To tell the truth, I'd rather have the orange than the roll-up, but Seth hates apricots, and I like them fine, so we can trade and both of us get something we like. We have to be sneaky about it, but that's not hard for a fourth grader. Most of the lunch monitors stay as far away from us as they can. I opened my bag too hard on purpose, and the orange rolled out across the table, off my lap, and onto the bench between us. It didn't drop very hard and wouldn't be bruised at all. Seth smiled and reached over to get it, and while he did, he tipped over his lunchbox and all the food spilled out onto the table. With all our food mixed up together in front of us, it was really easy to just choose what we like. I had tuna fish, which isn't my favorite, but Seth had a ham sandwich, and it would have mustard on it. I hate mustard. So I got the tuna fish and the roll-up, but Seth did have a brownie for dessert. I didn't have dessert in my lunch, so I had nothing to trade. I pulled out my marble bag. I'm not trading my brownie for a marble, Seth said. You'll just win it back at recess. I have to confess that this was my plan, but I really wanted the brownie. Okay, we'll play no keepsies. Keepsies, as your grandmother probably knows, is where you get to keep all the marbles you win in the game, even if they started out belonging to someone else. Seth unwrapped his sandwich. The tinfoil crunched and crinkled as he spread it flat on the table, shiny side up. No keepsies for 2 days. 2 days? You're kidding. He shook his head and took a bite of sandwich. Nope, I got a cool marble yesterday and I want to play with it. I don't want you to take it. Forget it, I said. It's only fun if we play keepsies. I think it's fun anyway, he said. He munched his ham and cheese. And it's a really good brownie. He nudged it with his hand just an inch closer to me. The brownie was about the size of a Pokemon card and thick and fudgy looking. There were dents in the top. No frosting. I said, "Those are chocolate chips in there, aren't they?" He nodded and sipped his milk. I could see the brownie's oily chocolatiness through the plastic bag. I knew he wouldn't give it to me without something special. I put my marble bag on the table. "Okay," I said, taking the brownie off the table and undoing the drawstring of the bag. "One Steely, your choice, and no keepsies for 2 days." Seth swallowed the last of his sandwich and slid his fingers into the opening of my bag, peering inside. Deal. That was the best brownie I ever ate, which was good because Seth took my newest Steely that I hadn't even played with yet. I scarfed down my sandwich without even swallowing and crumpled the brown paper bag into a ball. The trash can was at the other end of the table, and there were 3 kids there next to it eating lunch. Seth saw me make the ball out of my lunch bag and put his hand out in front of me. "Don't try it, Paul," he said. "Those kids don't like you." "I won't miss," I said, because that's what I always say. And usually I'm right, but usually I'm shooting from a lot closer than this. Still, I am a good shot. The garbage can is big, and it's a small ball. So I shot the paper bag high up into the lunchroom air, and I could tell right away that it was a good shot. It was going to go in. Except that one of the kids, a big blonde-haired 6th grader named Carl, saw me shoot it, and he jumped up and swatted the ball back my way. It went past me and under the table and landed in a pool of someone's spilled milk. He laughed at me and sat down again. A hand clamped down on my shoulder. "Whose paper bag is that?" said one of the lunchroom monitors from somewhere above me. She was pointing to my ball. "It's mine, ma'am," I said glumly. I knew I was going to have to go get it. And sure enough, I did. It smelled bad under the table. The bag had already gotten soggy and the milk dripped down my arm, and it took another minute to get it to the trash can, and then the lunch monitor made me mop up the milk, too, with the mop over by the microwave. That took forever. So we hardly got to play marbles at all that recess. By the time I got out there, 3 kids had joined Seth, and they were already shooting. "Paul, you really said no keepsies?" A small red-headed girl said over her shoulder. "Carly. She's in 5th grade, and she's really smart, but she's too small for sports, and 5th grade girls don't play sports much anyway. And she says the other girls just want to talk about dumb stuff, so she found our marble game one day and asked if she could play. She took one of my Aggies with her very first shot, and she's been one of us ever since." "There was a brownie involved," I said. Seth said, "and a mop, and a lunch lady." "Ooh," the other kid said, one of them in the middle of his shot. His shooter went all the way through and missed everything. It rolled to a stop at my feet, and I reached down and picked it up. Well used, with tiny chips all over it, a white glass. Sandy's favorite. "My turn," I said, kneeling down and handing the shooter back to Sandy. "You don't have marbles in the game yet. You have to wait," Carly said. "It's no keepsies, so who cares? We only have another minute," I said, and drew my shooter from my black velvet bag. Mine is black, a glassy, a little bit bigger than a regular marble, and smooth all around. When my shooter gets chips, I trade it to one of the other kids. I have to have a perfect shooter. There were 8 marbles left in the ring. Since there were 5 of us, the ring was really big, farther across than I could reach. 2 cat's eyes were close to me, next to each other. Just beyond them was a glassy, a sort of milky green color that I knew belonged to Seth. Then there was an Aggie with a cool gold band around it, and 2 bumblebees that I hadn't seen before, and 2 tricolors way over on the other side, a couple inches apart. I didn't think I could hit them unless I was really lucky, or I took some time, and since we weren't playing keepsies, it didn't matter if I took time or not. So I shot for the easy ones, the cat's eyes right in front of me. I knuckled down, put the shooter in the crook of my finger, and laid my thumb behind it. I sighted over the top of the ring. Some guys like to get down behind it and sight the shot like a rifle, but that's not my way. I lined up to hit both of the close ones and knock them out of the ring together. If we were playing keepsies, then I'd get both marbles. Even though we weren't, I like to stay sharp. The taw fired out straight and true, skimming over the concrete, right at the place where it would hit the 2 cat's eyes together and send them out of the ring, But at the last second, it must have hit something because it veered just a little and smacked into the one on the left, hitting it square and sending it shooting off between Seth and Sandy over by the school. It skidded over the pavement and disappeared in a crack. Nice shot, Paul, Sandy said. Brilliant. That was my marble, too. Sorry, I said. I don't know what happened. I didn't mean to hit it that hard. I'll get it, Sandy said. No, that's okay, I said, picking up and pocketing my shooter. It's your shot. I'll go get the marble. It's just right here. But when I got to the place where it disappeared into the crack, it wasn't there. That's installment number 1. Tune in next time for installment number 2 of All the Marbles. Thanks for watching.